Hello, my name's George Bell and I'm an investment analyst here at True Potential. As temperatures rose to record highs this week, Boris Johnson coolly walked into 10 Downing Street as its newest resident, taking charge at a challenging time. This comes after a turbulent contest for the Conservative Party leadership following Theresa May's resignation. Boris Johnson won by a two-thirds majority on Tuesday evening, elected on a wave of renewed optimism. In his first day in office on Wednesday, Mr Johnson began with a dynamic reorganisation of the cabinet, in which over half of Theresa May's previous appointees were either sacked or resigned. This included Boris Johnson's leadership rival, Jeremy Hunt. The members of the revised cabinet can be seen on screen now. And whilst Boris and the revised cabinet entered Parliament discussing themes around the police force, elderly and the NHS, the immediate challenge for the new PM will undoubtedly be Brexit, specifically when and how it will end. When questioned by opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn on the topic, Boris made it clear that the cabinet are committed to leaving the EU on the 31st of October, or indeed earlier, no ifs and no buts. But is it really that simple? The UK's labyrinth crisis over Brexit has impacted the domestic economy, mainly due to the uncertainty surrounding its outcome. Although we should add, not in the debilitating fashion predicted. From this point onwards, the outcomes for Brexit are mainly categorised as leaving with a deal, a no-deal exit, or a second referendum. But a multitude of potential pathways exists, as demonstrated by this visual. So how can Boris succeed in 97 days where Theresa May could not? It has been argued that when Theresa May took the helm, she was dealt a bad hand. However, on reflection, she was perhaps just the wrong person at the wrong time. Prior to her appointment as PM, Mrs May had been very vocal about her desire to remain within Europe, sourcing facts and statistics as to why it is essential for the UK economy to do so. And then when her time came to commence Brexit negotiations, European leaders knew that she lacked convictions, giving them the upper hand. Boris, on the other hand, enters the negotiations with no such prejudgments. This leaves the EU in no doubt that he is determined to see the UK depart from the bloc. Mr Johnson, a fervent Leave campaigner during the lead-up to the referendum and subsequently a vocal supporter for leaving the EU, appears to have no qualms about implementing a no-deal Brexit if his hand is forced. Entering negotiations with a different, more determined mindset will provide greater political ammunition than his predecessors, but does not guarantee anything. Despite establishing his New Deal credentials, the PM has said leaving with a deal is preferable, yet planning for a no-deal Brexit is a top priority. Whether the EU takes him seriously is not known. One US investment bank, JP Morgan, raised the probability of a no-deal Brexit from 15% to 25%. This estimate still makes it a fairly low probability, and no deal is still considered to be the less likely outcome. Ultimately, it appears that Boris Johnson is firm in his desire to leave the European Union by the October deadline. Whether this is through a revised deal or no deal at all, only time will tell. His prior stance in favour of leaving now, backed by a cabinet with similar views, is a potential game changer. The prize associated with getting a renegotiated settlement is big, and in a rational world, this would help deliver a good outcome. On this basis, there is still hope that shared interests in getting this settled will prevail. In the meantime, one thing is certain: the media will lap up uncertainty and whip up hysteria on an even grander scale. Thank you for watching.